What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Eighth Groove Club, where we talk about flushing more golf shots, shooting lower rounds, how to deal with the struggles, the hurdles, the obstacles of becoming your best golfer. What's up, Drew?
What up? What up?
So
What
today
do we
we're,
got?
oh, go ahead.
What do we got?
We got, we're going to talk about infinite and finite games. And I think everybody knows about finite games. That's just the games everybody's used to playing. But today we're going to get in the difference between them and to push everybody to get more involved and more serious about the infinite game. So and how it'll help you become your best golfer and have some new unlocks and enjoy the process, enjoy like the whole journey a whole lot more and just you'll have a different frame to look through this your lenses so you have better experiences, you get the most out of everything and the difference here. So when we're talking about an infinite versus a finite game, finite games is what everybody's used to. On a golf course, you play 18 holes. In a Major League Baseball game, you have 9 innings. You know who you're playing against, you know your opponents, you know the rules, you know the duration of time. There is always a clear winner in a finite game. Those are all the games we're used to playing. Whereas an infinite game, there are no clear rules. There is no time limit. There's players that are known and unknown. And the whole thing about an infinite game is to keep playing, to continue playing. That's how you win. And if we can look at, okay, golf, we want to play it for as long as we can while we're here on planet Earth. We want to play the infinite game. Okay, sure, there's going to be micro finite games. We're going to play 18 holes. We're going to have a 36 hole match. We're going to have a 72 yard, 72. We're going to have our infinite games. But the real game of golf is played in an infinite game, and we're gonna play the rest of our life. And the whole thing with the infinite game is to play and to keep playing. That's how you win. So if we know we can play the real games to continue to play when we're not playing good, and say we're in one of those finite games and it's a 18 hole round, we're playing with one of our buddies, we're not playing good. And instead of getting frustrated or picking up, it's like, okay, well, this isn't the real game. The real game is to continue to play and to continue to get better. And a good like example is like for an infinite game, we're used to it, but we haven't like the concept is like warped. Like the way we want to explain it for us to get it is I think we get half of it. Like if I say other infinite games that we play are health, you don't win at health, you stay healthy. Another one would be business. You don't win at business. You want to keep playing the game of business. You want to keep growing your business. You want to stay in business. And growth would be the primary objective. Or relationships. You don't win at relationships. You want to keep growing healthy relationships. So like golf is our infinite game. You don't win at golf. It doesn't happen. You keep playing and you keep getting better. And by keep playing the game, that's how you win at golf. And like, there is no rules of like, you have to practice this. You can't hit 10 shots, 20 shots from the 100-yard marker. If you're at a club where there's not a lot of traffic, and like when the sun goes down, you can usually hit a lot of shots on the golf course in some places. I know some places are packed, but like me and you will go play from the 100-yard marker and just play that hole over and over. We'll just keep playing take a drop somewhere around the 100-yard marker. But it's like there are no rules at that point. It's just we're there playing, we're there working on our game, our craft. So how do you see this really benefiting? Because this shifts the mind into like like when we all want to get better and we don't allow ourselves to sometimes. Like the golfer who everybody's been victim of this. They're playing their finite game and they're 18 hole, they're somewhere in their round, they're not playing good, and they're like, I'm out of here, I'm done. And it's like, well, that round's really not the real picture of it. The real picture is getting better, and you are so focused on this one round, it's like distracted you from the bigger game. So now you're gonna mentally check out and leave when you could be like, oh well, I'm still gonna get something out of it. I'm just gonna keep practicing. I'm playing like dog shit today, but like and it's really hard for people to get so stuck in that finite game. How do you see this? What are the like obvious things or what's screaming out at you right when we're diving in?
That that was so good. That was so well said. Um, the finite game, everyone's searching for a result in the finite game. So you're trying to build a house starting with the roof in the
Ooh,
finite game.
like
The,
you're searching for the result, not the process, not
you're
the
searching
outcome.
for the
You're trying to build the outcome, and it's impossible.
everyone wants to shoot a good score. Everyone wants to shoot even par, and you don't just start shooting even par. You have to build your game up, and the way to get yourself to be the most successful with the lowest score in the at the end of the infinite game consistently is to build your house starting with your firm foundation. You take I tell young people this all the time because it's like, hey, you're 20 years old, you're 18 years old. How
Mm.
long can you play the game? Well, let's say you die at 75. You can, or let's say you can play until you're 75, you still have 55 years left. Sacrifice 3 years right now of boring. Someone told me today this is boring because we're hitting foundation shot. Like, can we start hitting more shots? No, you just build this foundation. So you take, I'm gonna say 2 years. And I know it sounds like a long time. It took me, I guess that's because it took me 2 years to really start growing, understanding path face. Then, so you take the time to build this foundation, and then you lose the frustrations that come with trying to build your house from the roof
Mhm. It's always
down.
falling apart. A little leak over here, you're plugging out,
Yeah.
the wind comes, your whole wall caved in. Like you're always going to be battling the elements and you're never going to be solid if you don't spend that boring time on your foundation.
Yeah. And then people are look you it's common to struggle in the finite game of the day and start trying to
Mm,
rewrite the story of your swing and recreate your whole game. And it brought me back to Harvey Pinnick's Little Red Book, and it's a very simple passage that just says, if you play bad one day, forget about it. If you play bad the next, you forget about it. If you play bad 3 days in a row, then start
mm,
to look for a change. Uh,
right,
something with
right.
something that can be fixed. But day to day, you have to get that. You have to have those 100 reps that we talked about in the past before you can start looking for a change. So one round isn't giving it isn't giving you those reps to where you can start making a change. This is such
Yeah,
a good.
yeah. Like there's a couple things I want to touch on. One thing, the boring thing. Boring is good when you're doing something and you find it boring and it feels hard. That's why people don't progress and get good. So when you know you're in that boring state, that hard state, that's when you're like, oh, this is where the real growth happens. This is what I need to fall in love with. This is what I need to push through. And it's like the 80-20 rule, like the last 20% of your workout, you grow 80% of your muscle. So it's like when I'm doing something hard, when it's boring, it's like, oh, this is why all the other people don't put the time in. This is why it's so challenging. So this is the feeling I should be having. This means I'm onto something and I'm improving. So that's a good feeling. And I think if we can associate it and change the frame to like, oh, this is it right here, this boring. All right, I'm onto it rather than, oh no, I can't deal with this. And I think it needs to go from this is boring to this is how to get better. This is the feeling of what better feels like. You have to get so bored with it and do it so many times to get your reps in. Now it's good, do it again and do it better. If you can just when you're working on your game, good, do it again, do it better. And have that like feedback loop to you, then and not go crazy over it and not like get frustrated or and just if you can keep that positivity in the background to remind yourself that, I think that'll help you get to the next level because everybody needs more reps. Once they find out the right fundamentals and the foundation, some people are like, I'm spending so much time on it. I think it's because of this. I think it's because of that. I'm like, well, it's telling you need more reps. Like if you're not getting up and down consistent or you're blading some shots, you just need more reps. That's it. And it does take a lot. And to do these things, you can do it. And you will get better if you stick with it.
It kind of comes down to what you have to have a goal. If you play because it's fun and you like to be outside and play, or do you have a goal that's a long term? What are you trying to shoot even par? Are you trying to consistently shoot under par? Are you trying to shoot 79? Are you trying to shoot in the 70s? Are you trying to shoot in the 80s? Do you just want to have fun? Like create your goal. And then if your goal is to shoot good scores, 79 below, you have to put the time in and hit and have the reps. And it might start out being boring, but it's something that grows on you and becomes fun. It becomes exciting because you start to see glimpses of success in what seemed like the hardest game to play. And then you realize like this is actually, and it's very fun. I don't want to say addicting. It's addicting.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Full blown.
And
In the vein.
you that grows on you once you see that little tiny glimpse of I can actually do this from when your previous perspective was this is hard to do, seems impossible. Um, you you enjoy it when you start making a string of putts in a row. You hole a chip. You hit a string of chips close. You hit a string of solid shots in a row. And then it's like, oh, I want to continue to do this more.
Yeah, I think it goes like with anything you do in the beginning, you're gonna be bad. And like people want to be like find their passion in life. Well, like you're gonna be bad at most things in the beginning, and it's hard to like really be into anything you're bad at. So you're gonna just have to like a lot of things just bite the bullet until you start to get better. And once you start to get better, it becomes more fun. So that practice in the beginning of like hitting bad shots isn't very fun. But once you start to hit quality shots and you can stay in the shot and you're in control of the ball, that boring practice, you can feel the intricacies of the shot and you can start to make it more enjoyable. So I think in the beginning, suffering or being bored, having a hard time, that's like the price of admission in some respects. But sticking with it and doing more of it to getting better then builds the enjoyment and the fun of the process of getting better. And like what you said, you need a goal. It's just like on the course, you need to pick a target. Your goal is your target for what you want to do. And anything you track and measure and have a target that you can write down, know you want to hit, achieve, you're more likely to get closer to it. Scientifically, you automatically improve just by tracking. If you're tracking your weight, if you're tracking your bank account, like just by monitoring and being aware of it, it improves. That's been scientifically proven. So like just by having your goal, it's your goal is your target, and now track the things that you need to improve. So if it's like lowering your handicap, track all your rounds. Just by tracking your rounds, you'll start to work on lowering your rounds. And I think knowing you're playing the infinite game, so just because you don't hit it right now or you don't hit it fast enough, that's okay. Because the way that the handicap systems work, it's like your lowest 8 rounds out of 20, I think it is, or lowest 6 rounds. So it's like even if you don't shoot like what your handicap says that day, that's okay because you're going to shoot a lot worse. and being okay with that and knowing, oh, this is just part of the infinite game. I'm still building, I'm still working to get better over time, and this is part of it. And I'm winning just because I'm going through it and I'm sticking with it and I'm not leaving because I'm having a bad day or I'm tired of practice. I'm going home and I'm sticking with it. Putting in my reps, and I think really having that target and a clear definition of what you want is gonna help. So you can set expectations. You know, if you want to shoot in the 70s and you just want to play once a week, that's not realistic. Um, so you can know how much time you need or should be putting so you can hit your target and goals and what it's gonna take so you can set yourself up for success.
Another part is back to that foundation. I've been thinking like everyone's house is going to look different. Um, and that just goes off of what is it that that person works on and focuses on is going to create your house. Everyone has a house because your house is built on you, like your finite game score creates your house, and this house can evolve and this house can change, and you can work on a fundamental foundation. You can change the walls and you can change the roof by working on your fundamental foundation is going to be the ground based on what's your body movements, and then your walls would be your short game. How good is your short game is how strong are your walls, and your roof is going to be your kind of like your finishing touch, ball striking. I'm throwing that out there. It can be that could be would be a good study to see like what is how do you build the house? What's the most important? Where at in the game is the most? Well, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, you're like syncing up the aspects that support to the house, like all the major pieces, foundation, walls, roof, and how it connects to the
Each
different
part of the
aspects
game.
of an individual's game, whether it's wedge, short game, putting, full swing ball striking, strategy. So
Yeah,
like I think the architecture of the house is like the mental game and the strategy.
yeah.
The foundation, yeah, the foundation,
The outside of the house is your physical game.
I think the foundation has to be the reps and the time you've put. Like the discipline you've
Yeah.
put into working on your game is your foundation.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
because think about it like this: if you build a two-story house, you could build that foundation in a couple days, and it could be like, from one wall to the next. Look at your house or look at an apartment, a one story or like a shed, and then you just put the other story on top. But if you want 100 story, if you want to build a big foundation, you want to become a great golfer, you're not going to see any vertical growth for maybe a year. You might need to build that foundation just so wide so it can support that. So you really need to put the reps in and really like build that really broad, wide, large foundation. So when you start going up and then you keep going up, it keeps stacking because you would not try to build 100 story building foundation the same as a 2 story building foundation. And so like what people want to do in golf needs to be like they need to give themselves the time and the effort each day of the week, like however many days of the week it needs to be connected for an extended amount of time to say, I'm going to build that big foundation because I have big dreams in golf and I want to shoot low scores. I want, so I think that foundation has to do with the time and reps they put in. And then like inside I'd say the piping or the plumbing and all that I don't know what that stuff's pretty important in a house. But
That's getting really deep into it. I think that what you said about the foundation is how long do you spend on developing the reps, which is going to get you. And there's obviously different parts. Are you focusing on doing the right stuff in the rep? You're going to have a stronger foundation. Are you just doing the rep with no rhyme or reason?
right,
You're going to have a
right.
different foundation.
Yeah,
then
you're gonna have a lot of pieces to that foundation, and they're not gonna be very supportive, and you're gonna spend yeah,
that's
maybe
actually
a
I
lot of
think
material out on the work in the work area there, but it won't yeah.
yeah, yeah, then like your interior decorating is your mental game. Like what are
Interior decorating, the finishing touch.
it would be like
Keep
how
it
is your mental game will create you different interiors and like everyone's building is completely different because we all have
very
different
different.
games. Someone might have a fascinating roof, which would be I don't know, and someone has really good walls, which would be like the difference between a short game and a ball striker. Like
And some people have a relaxing vibe, chill, whether they're
yeah,
shooting high score or low scores, and some people have like a crazy, like bipolar, like playing bad. Don't talk to him. Like clear the
yeah.
path for him. Let him do his thing.
What do you think would be good for people? Because I think this is a really good exercise. One, you can create your own building. What is that? What is
Yeah,
your
do
own
you want
building?
that big foundation, or do you just want a solid foundation and then like some? But
And
go ahead.
then how do we work towards that that
Putting it,
building?
building it up.
Like
I think we
how do
have
you
to
create your
define.
building?
I think we have to define. I think we started it, and we just need to define the
What is
foundation
the
is
build?
the
Yeah.
rep, and I think we need to know we need to be working on the right things. Like the building, the foundation needs to be solid and consistent. So we can't just be like going from like one philosophy to the next and then changing things. And now we're going to use our wrists. Now we're not going to try not to use our wrists. Like we need to stick with one thing and so we need to know what we're building with. That's our philosophy. Our building materials are our philosophy. Once we have our philosophy, so if you guys are part of the golf games, the golf partners golf platform, go to it's our free golf platform and community. It's all over the world. We do free tournaments, free challenges. There's online courses, over hundreds of videos. It's all free. Go to www.the dash like a line golfpartners.com and join free. Create your own profile. We'll see you on the inside. Don't put it in your search engine. Put it in the URL browser, and it'll redirect you to school. Download the free school communities app, and what we teach in there is the golf machine and a lot of what Hogan's philosophy was, and a lot of the greats. But once you have your philosophy or your style, that's like what you're gonna build out of. Then you need to know how what kind of foundation you want, and then I think we need. You talked about the finishing touch was your mental game. I think we just have to clarify like the different pieces a little bit more. But that would be a good exercise to clarify what ball striking is, which one, what's short gate, the walls is, what's putting, and strategy, and then health, fitness, because that's gonna play a, maybe your area code. Where are you? Are you in a high crime rate area? Is that mean you need to work on your mental game or you yeah. So I think we have some homework to do off air and then we can come back to it because everybody's game I think would look different and I think it's a good artistic way to go a little bit deeper.
Yeah. That the finite game was I had to look it up when you told me about this topic earlier, and
Yeah.
I was kind of because I didn't understand like one I didn't even know what you're talking about, and then instantly I was kind of like okay, and then I just started thinking about it, and I looked it up again, and it said that chess would be a finite game,
Yeah, there's two opponents. There's going to be a clear winner. There's a clear set of rules. You know who you're playing against. There's a clear set of rules. There's going to be a winner, and the game is going to come to an end.
and that's
That's
just like
finite.
a round of 18 holes is a finite game.
Yeah, yeah. And guys, for context, I text Drew. I said, "Hey, on the eighth group, we're going to talk about the difference between infinite and finite games." And I know nobody talks about this stuff. This is like very rare. Are you going to hear about this stuff? So you're yeah. So and then what would happen?
And you build your foundation for your infinite game for
The rest of your life, as long as you keep playing.
so you have to create a goal of how long can you play till.
It comes down to your health. Like if you love golf and like there's no other like, you life takes over, now you can't play golf. Like most people who love golf in the US, like I know we're very privileged. We live in a first world country, a bunch of amazing stuff. So like if we can and we have time, most people who play golf, a lot of people play golf most of their life if they stay healthy. For people who are diehard passionate golfers like us and many other people on the platform and friends of ours and other golfers around the world. So like it really becomes to like can how healthy can I stay? And then as long as no outside like traumatic anything gets in the way, you can play for almost the rest of your life. Like there are 90-year-olds who play golf.
Yeah. So wouldn't it be a good idea to set a goal of how long do you intend to play golf? You
Is
you create your own like estimate number so that way you can build a plan of if I have for myself. Let's say I'm 24 years old to say I play for till I'm 75. So 50 more years. To spend 5 years is 1/10 on building a solid foundation is one. I said already that I think 2 years is good, 3 years is good, 5 years on a solid foundation sounds like crazy, over the top, a long time, but that house is never gonna fall down.
that'll
I'm
stand
not,
the test of
yeah,
time.
that's and then you spend the rest of your time, and I just think it's amazing how many times people don't even don't even think about that.
Yeah, they have one foot in and one foot out, I
I don't
think.
think so.
I I do. I think people they want to play, they don't really want to put the time in. They don't like suffering on the golf
Okay,
course.
I agree.
And then some people
A lot of that is the the 80s shooter.
or 90s or hundreds shooter. Yeah, I'd say even 100 shooter. Like some people they just go out and play, but I think also um I think they don't have access to the right stuff. Like they,
Yeah.
they don't know about the platform. And the more people who get into the platform introduced to it, they're like, oh, this is the direction. This is how the game works. This is how I can play. This is how I can start seeing results. Um, so I think because I talk to people and some people are like, oh no, I don't care to get better. That's not very often. There's a few of those, but there's some people are like, oh wow, I can learn, I can get better for free. Like, what is it? Okay, let me join. Um, so I think that they just need to have they just everybody's not everybody. People are different and they're in categories and like depending on the category, then they can know, okay, I should start building my foundation or I should start setting my targets and my goals. And now I have
How much of that comes down to being open to learn versus being stubborn and what you think you know?
oh man, so the golf golf is a great humbler in the world of stubborn people who yeah, like the golf ball is a great teacher because like you may think your club face is closed and you're closing it, but the golf ball is not gonna lie to you. You're slicing the ball like it just instant feedback. Um, so yeah, it's impressive because sometimes you just like there's no way I left my club face open that time, and you're like, the ball says different.
Yeah, that's a good point. I thought you would take that into me being stubborn when you tell me stuff and
Ah,
how it takes me a month to
um,
figure out what you're saying, and then a month I come back and I'm talking about it, and you're like, "Yep, this one only took you a month this time."
there you go, man. Yeah, yeah, it's you're coming full circle. Somehow it brewed in you and you heard something somewhere else and then you're like, "Oh, here we go."
Well, that also
You're
that
like, "Hey,
goes
what about this? I just figured this out." I'm like, "Dude, I told you that a month ago." And
that's
that
what
one, it wouldn't be
it
the first time either. It's like, dude, not again.
oh yeah, it comes into I've heard Colin Morikawa say this back when I first started playing golf, is you don't really learn unless you figure it out for yourself. Like someone
Yeah, I
can
have
tell you
something similar to say about that.
if
You have
someone
to experience it.
yeah,
You
if
have to
someone
like yeah, go ahead.
everyone can people can tell you if you do this, the ball does this, like you need to do this. You think about it, it doesn't really work. You don't start doing it, and then it has that aha moment and it clicks where you, like you said, experienced it, the why you do it, and then it's like, okay. And then you never forget it. You can if someone tells you something and you don't learn it for yourself,
Mm.
you're not gonna learn it's gonna go in one ear, out the other, and then maybe you'll come back to it and think and remember it and learn it in the future, but nothing clicks like learning something yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. Concepts and theories and all are great, but without the firsthand experience, it they don't ever do it justice. It's like we're doing the throwing the club drill, and it's like, okay, you got to learn to get connected to your target and throw the club to the target. Okay, well, how do you do that? You throw the club at the target. It's like, okay, well, how do you do it? You get connected to the target. It's like, okay, I get it. Well, why is your club going left? Oh, I don't know. Why is it? It's because you're not connected to your target. And then finally, you tell your friend to do this, and Will, shout out to Will, he called me yesterday. Hey man, I've been throwing clubs, man, for 6 days because I said you need to do this drill for 2 weeks. Oh, I can't do it for 2 weeks. I don't have. Oh man, he's not listening. He's making excuses. He could go find an open field a lot to throw his club to learn how to stay connected to his target. So, guys, if you do the club throwing drill, it's the best drill for your ball striking. There's a famous pro in San Jose, California. If you wanted a lesson with him, he's world famous. You had to throw your clubs for 2 weeks before he ever gave you a lesson. It teaches you actually how to deliver the club the right way. You can never learn this from ball striking the way you can from actually letting go, throwing your club at your target, and it goes flying. The club always wants to go. If you're a righty, it always goes to your left. It'll go behind you before it goes. And anyways, so I was throwing the club and he started to get it that first day and then I told him you need to do this for 2 weeks, man. Like if you're serious about your game, because he'll hit 3 buckets of balls in a row, and I know he wants to put in the time. So he's like, hey man, I didn't I got it. He's like I for 6 days I threw the clubs. I know what you mean now. Connected to your target. You mean when he basically just repeated back what I said the whole time. But the thing was he got connected to his target by experiencing it. So he's like, you mean when you say connect to your target, you mean know where your target is and throw the club to it. And I'm like, he said, that's what you mean by staying connected to your target. And that's where how you're going to throw the club to your target by knowing where your target is and throwing your club to the target. He's like, I had to do it. Now I get it. And now I can do it. And it's like that experience because golf is a field sport. Somebody can't just tell you it. You have to figure it out on your own. That's why, like, when you figure it out and if I say, hey, what's it feel like? Someone could say this right after they do it. Okay, great. That's what it feels like for you. You have it. You have the feel. You have the experience. But until people like really get it and feel it and experience it, um, they need the lessons, the drills, the help, the resources to get themselves in a position to actually experience it. And then they're like the connection. Because for me, it feels like I'm connected to my target. I know where my target is in my mind's eye when I'm looking at the ball and I'm throwing the club to the target. I'm swinging to that. Like that all makes sense to me. But to actually do it, like there is a connection and everybody's got to experience it. Because they're gonna have to let go of what they were doing and do this new thing. And that new connection is what's gonna help them hit their best golf shots and free it up. Instantly, everybody learns how to naturally swing. Like Like there's the golfer that like makes them like that's been work playing golf a long time and maybe they can shoot decent scores and they're over the ball and they're like getting set and they're perfect and they pick up the club and they like make their like golf swing that they've really learned and spent a lot of time on perfecting. And then when they learn to throw the club, they look at the target and they just launch it, dude. And it's just this new motion and it's so freeing and it's a totally an athletic, way more speed. And it's like it doesn't take you any type of mental swing thought process to throw your club at your target. And then that connects to now do that and hold on to the club and just put the ball in the way and make that same motion. And then it's like, oh, there's your golf swing. Like, let's start there.
That's super exciting. That's a lower score incoming for Will.
Bro, 6 days. Bro,
Guaranteed lower score incoming.
yeah, yeah. And hey, what do you think uh when someone says like can't do that? Like such a like we were at Applewood. It's dark. We can't even see our clubs and we're throwing them because like we're there doing it and it got late. And I'm like, you have to do this for 2 weeks. And it's not just Will. It's I can't do that. Where does that come from?
That's the limiting belief.
How do people get past it?
You don't say you can't do it.
Get those words out of your vocabulary. Those are
Yeah.
bad words. Can't, won't, should. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. We'll leave. Yeah, that's a good way to start. For sure.
He's got lower scores incoming for sure. His ball striking just hit another level, but it's that you can tell it, and it doesn't go into the lower moments. But when someone reaches back out to clarify, is whenever it's like, okay,
I
you
was
got it. You now you just shaved off 5 shots around.
Yeah, and start hitting the ball better, further, more online. Like
Yeah,
everything
which
just
all
got
just equates to
lower.
a solid house.
Yeah.
That
I was so happy to hear it. I
oh
was
yeah,
like,
for
there
sure.
he is. There he is. I was like, he's gonna have to come on the eighth groove and share.
Absolutely. That's nothing makes you happier when someone it clicks for someone. See
Right, right.
someone yeah,
And
that's
it
the
can click for anybody. Anybody listening to this, it can click. Just stick with it. Stick with the playing the infinite game.
I think a lot of it what you say is like you can repeat the same thing, but how many ways can you repeat the same thing and say it a different way? Because one of them is going to click with someone.
Yeah, yeah, you can, but they just have to experience to do it. Like
Yeah,
the message goes back to the Colin Morikawa story and experiencing it with Justin. Justin always would say, "What's it feel like?" Great. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Right?" He's like, "I don't know. Like it's you, man. Like you got it." And that's why it won't fold like a rusty lawn chair. He would say because you figured it out and it's a feel for you now. It's not words in your head. So guys, remember, pick a target, swing at your target. Keep your club face square, your head back, and your hands out in front.
eighth group.